What's going on there? Tired of being a pussy? Tired of listening to all those other pussy podcasts? Didn't you wish you had a badass podcast that you could listen to whenever you wanted? Well, Binge Society is that podcast. It's the one that's going to get you all the hot babes. So strap in, grab yourself a Coors, snap it to a Slim Jim, and get ready for another episode of Binge Society. Cobra Kai style. Sweep the leg.
That was a very good Johnny Lawrence right there, my man. I enjoyed that. Yes, and by the way, yes, this is the Binge Society podcast, the podcast where nothing is in moderation. And as always, my name is Winston Brewington.
I am Daniel San Bronner.
And my karate name is Yeti, Yemi the Yeti, the Beast. Show no mercy. Sweep the leg, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai, everybody is fighting. Cobra Kai, we are all igniting. Cobra Kai.
So for those of you who cannot currently see us, because if you're listening to this podcast, obviously you can't see us, Yemi has a red bandana around his neck, repping Cobra Kai. He is serious.
And did I hear also, Yemi, that you said that your spirit karate animal is a yeti? You're like a karate yeti of sorts?
I am a elusive yeti. That's my karate.
Coming out of the mountain caves with a spinning
cords.
cookie.
Did you hear that crack? That's crack of Cobra Kai coolers, man.
Elusive Yeti.
I'm a elusive Yeti, man. Don't let me sneak up behind you. Hey.
Oh man, this is amazing. All right, so
I'm not sure if they got the hint yet, Winston. What are we talking about today? What do we have in today's episode? What's our binge of the week?
Our binge of the week this week is the super uber famous show which just got picked up by Netflix called Cobra Kai, and this is gonna be a fun episode. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai is now on Netflix. It used to be a YouTube Red vehicle, but Netflix snatched it up. And a couple of quick notes. Will Smith's company, Overbrook Entertainment, they own the rights to Karate Kid. So that's why if you're looking through all the names, you'll see Will Smith in there. So yes, he is involved in the project. And of course, you know, this is one of the most popular shows on Netflix currently right now. Everyone's watching it. So let's get right into it. So we'll start with Danny first. Danny, what were your thoughts on seasons 1, I guess 1 and 2 of Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I'll go kind of
Wait. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So good.
Can we just say that up top?
Point, Yemi. So these 2 seasons have been out for a while on YouTube, although I don't know who the fuck was watching on YouTube, Red. I wasn't paying for that shit. Maybe you are, and if you did, more power to you. But in any case, we are going to be doing full spoilers of season 1 and season 2. So if you have not watched either of these seasons, go do yourself a flavor, buddy, and go watch them, and then come back, and then see what we think, and we can get into our full spoiler discussion. Now, a little bit of background, if I may, because, you know, what kind of response is it from me if it's not long-winded? I watched the first episode, and I saw the Karate Kids way back in my childhood. I don't know the last time I saw it. It might have actually been in the 80s or like early 90s. But in any case, I watched the first episode. I was into it. But the thing to do, and I don't know how you guys watched it, and I don't know how you, the audience, watched it, but the thing to definitely do is go back and watch the Karate Kid. And I don't even say Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. I just went back and I watched Karate Kid 1, and that, I think, really propelled my enjoyment of Cobra Kai season 1 and 2 into the stratosphere. Because, well, number one, Karate Kid is a dope fucking movie. It is very, very 80s, but it holds up really, really well in a way that the better Rocky films hold up. And by no coincidence, it's the same director that did the Rocky films. So just to go back and double back, what I loved about Karate Kid was obviously Ralph Macchio was 20 fucking 2. I didn't realize that when he did Karate Kid. I don't know what it would be like to be basically prepubescent in 22. What a miserable existence. But I guess that was compensated by the fact that he was a childhood Hollywood star. In any case, Ralph Macchio, it should be Macchio if he knew how to pronounce his name correctly in Italian. But he was dope in that movie. Mr. Miyagi, God rest his soul, Pat Morita. Their relationship was amazing. It was great to see. It was very sweet, very heartfelt, funny. The movie really, really holds up. So if you haven't seen it, go back and watch Karate Kid 1. And a lot of the Easter eggs, and one of the things that I thought that Cobra Kai did so well was taking lots of Easter eggs from Karate Kid, whether they just be like little tiny nods here, little nuggets for you. Like if you saw the movie, you're like, oh, I remember that. That's a note to this. And then there were sometimes actually they did really heavy-handed Easter eggs. They were kind of like these anime style flashbacks. It's like we are referencing something that happened earlier, and then they would do a flashback from the movie. The way they did that, that's a really good way to hold the hand of a viewer who has not seen The Karate Kid or saw it so long ago that they don't remember these things. Like I think of the instance where where Daniel goes back to his Reseda apartment complex, and then they have like a flashback of like the pool without the water. But in my head, when he was walking, I was like, oh shit, the pool has water in there now. So little nods like that were dope. It's just generally very 80s. This is a show for people our age, your 30-somethings, you're somewhere in that age demographic where you're a fan of Karate Kid, you're a fan of the 80s. There were tons of Easter egg nods, like references to Ninja Turtles and things that are basically for 80s kids. That aspect I loved. And one of the things that translated really well from the movie that they did in this series was the relationship between pupil and master. I thought that the relationship between Miguel and Johnny Lawrence was really dope. We're going to get more into specifics of the characters, but the portrayal of Johnny Lawrence, and basically I'll just leave it at this for now, like him trying to 80s his way through modern life was fucking incredible to watch. And just like the application of 80s attitudes was really fun to see how they play within the 2020 context. And also just watching kids sort of take on board some of the mentalities that actually serve them well in this modern world was cool to see. I love to see the character development of your Miguels and your Aishas. I love the dynamic between Daniel and Johnny. I loved that Johnny was like consumed in season 1 by all of what had happened in Karate Kid 1, basically. Like he's still plagued by this 35 years on or however long. So season 1 was incredible in that way and brought a lot of the charm that was in Karate Kid 1, and I really enjoyed that. Season 2 was, while not as good as season 1, brought a lot of different elements in that I thought were really enjoyable of building the world, of building the lore of Karate Kid while still making references to older films. There were references to Karate Kid 2 I know of, and the show was good at holding my hand because I didn't remember Karate Kid 2 that well. So they did that very awesomely well. I loved the whole juxtaposition of the Cobra Kai philosophy versus the Miyagi-Do philosophy. They got a little bit away from like the pettiness of Daniel versus Johnny, and it became more about the kids. And there was a lot of like cheesiness. There was a lot of cringe romance. There was a lot of like sort of cringe teen drama sort of things. And season 2 demanded a lot more disbelief out of the viewer. I thought like there were a couple more in like Karate Kid. All the sort of disbelief you had to suspend was basically like, would these karate moves actually work? That sort of a thing. But like in season 2 of Cobra Kai, it was like, how are they fighting in this fucking mall and no one has stopped them? How are they having a full-on brawl in their high school on the first day of school? Where are the fucking adults? Oh my God. They didn't come till like an hour later and they just got punched in the face and that was it. So season 2, while not as good as season 1, was very satisfying. And then I'll get into some more specifics as we go on.
Okay. That was a great response. All right, Yemi. You've been super hyped, ready to go with the bandana. What did you think of Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai was corny as shit. It's corny as shit. This is probably the corniest things we've ever binged. It's so corny the light went out. That's how corny it was. I was like, I can't shine a light on this. I got another light. That's because I'm a part of Cobra Kai. I always come prepared. It was good. It was good corny though. It was one of those things I'm like, this is good bad. It's like, or bad good. You know what I mean? You watch it and you're like, what is this? And then when they were doing karate, I was just cracking up laughing because it was bad karate. I'm like, what version? Like, you ever remember playing karate as a kid? I think whoever was the choreographer is like, okay, you're gonna go throw down. It just did not. It got better as the season 2 went on, but I'm a fan of choreography. Grew up on kung fu movies, Chinese kung fu movie flicks. I did see the Karate Kid, Bloodsport, all those like mid '90s kind of like karate movies. And I do remember I should have watched Karate Kid before this, but I didn't realize how corny Karate Kid was. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, they're paying like homage to all the old kind of timey feel stuff. I love the fact that they kind of were woke as far as, you know, Johnny being this 80s depressed middle-aged man, no, well, one kid, alcoholism, and his approach to how you would teach in whatever 2020, which is with the Gen Zers and snowflakes that they don't fight. They all have Twitter fingers. Like, no one, they don't fight, you know. And he's just like, don't be a pussy, or like he was like, hey, what's up, lip? What's wrong with your face? I'm like, just. It's like, oh, you would get canceled. First of all, you would get canceled day one. You know, like, oh, your Yelp reviews, all that shit. It's like, oh, this is dude at the mall.
Well, he did get that one. He did get that one Yelp review from Dimitri.
Oh yeah, but like,
Dimitri.
Like, they want people. Karens would go crazy. Like, oh, my son went to this karate place, and oh my, he used the P word, the C word, and like he's drives a Camaro. You know, he would get the bus. But it was good because they kept winking and nudging at that. Like they're in on it that obviously this won't fly, and especially in this culture, this cancel culture. So I really love that. I love the cheesiness of it and how it reminded me of how movies used to be, where it's just like, yeah, you just watch it and it's like you know, the whole overarching, at least for me, the whole overarching, I guess I'll save it for Beyond the Binge, but just I'll put a little pin in it. It's just like forgiveness, right? And can people change? Like, that's what all this was about. Can you forgive, and can people change? And I was, once I started making my own connections, I'm like, yeah, forgiveness is, I mean, I'm struggling with that just as a, you know, with my own personal, like people I know. So it's like, I can only imagine these two kind of dudes who met at a young, you know, also living in the same area. They didn't like move away from each other, or we'll get into that later, but just having this feud kind of gave me a whole Shakespearean, you know, if you're into Romeo and Juliet, like the Montagues versus the Capulets, right? Two families that just hate each other for no reason. Then you figure out like, oh, this nigga owe me money. You're like, oh, well, didn't he pay him back? No, because he never fixed my car. deeper. Whereas that, you know, that's not the Romeo and Juliet story, but like these guys is like, he kicked me in the face illegally. That's it.
Gotcha.
So it was stupid, but it was a good, stupid, corny binge for me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But fuck the Mayo. What is it? Mayato? What was the name of
Miyagi?
No. Russo. The name of his dojo was like the
Miyagi.
Miyagi-Do.
Miyagi-Do.
Come on.
That's Mr. Miyagi's dojo, man. How you? Whoa.
He has his own style of
bonsai
karate.
trees, man. Bonsai.
Yeah.
Paint the fence. Side to side. Breathe in,
Wax
breathe
on,
out.
wax off.
On Amazon.
You know what I'm saying? This was a very, very, very bingeable show. It was so, I mean, I watched the first season with my now current wife, we just sat and we just watched it, and it was almost like nostalgia porn. Like, I'm gonna coin that phrase, nostalgia porn, because it's like, I was like, oh shit, everything is 80s. They're bringing back, oh my god, hold on, the soundtrack. They had Poison on there, they had Rat, Foreigner, Alan Parsons Project, AC/DC, just to name a few. And it was just like, you're just getting all these vibes, and it's like, I loved it. I thought that was really awesome, because it's just like, look, I think what people want right now, especially in times like these, they want nostalgia. They want to feel better. They want to, think about things that made them feel good in the past. So I think this show definitely fills that void. And yeah, I mean, yes, there's a ton of cheesiness. But you know, it was very, very cheesy. But look, I did enjoy it, man. I thought having Daniel's son grown up as a car dealer or ship owner and all that. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought that was I like the way they did that. And Johnny Lawrence, his whole
competition
is
kicking the competition into next week.
Can't even kick that bubble tea.
It was ridiculous.
His roundhouses weren't
the
even
bubble tea
extended.
thing. Oh
you
my
kicking
God.
with that?
So ridiculous.
Russo?
But it was funny though. It was funny. And Johnny Lawrence, I like his sort of his journey, being an older guy who's really stuck in the past, who's trying to figure out what's going on, and
he's trying to 80s his way through life.
Pretty much.
That is Johnny Lawrence in a
Everything
nutshell. He didn't find out about the internet till 2019.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
hot babes.
The guy had to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but I loved that they ratcheted it up. It wouldn't have made sense if he was.
My man.
It was tongue in cheek, a wink and a nod, but they full throttle on the 80s, man, and you just have to go with it.
A Dell laptop from a pawn shop, and he went there for advice on how to fix it, and the guy's like, "Oh, did you press the on button?" He's like, "Oh." It was so ridiculous, but hilarious nevertheless.
That reminds me, Winston, I have to give this show a wink and a nod and a thumbs up for all of its product placement.
Yes,
the product placement in this show was tip top notch. All those Dell computers, I don't think a single computer existed in the universe of California and Cobra Kai. What else did they have? We had the Coors. We had Slim Jims. There was a Geico reference.
Yep. 2
of them. There were 2 Geico references.
Was there Tekken also?
There was a Tekken sighting for our video game fans. Me and Yemi are huge fighting game fans and big fans of Tekken. Yes.
Crazy.
Oh, also, let me get onto that note, because it was the son who was playing that. If I may just make an aside for that.
Oh,
I love how the son just fucking disappeared.
He was playing Tekken on his Vita, and then he said some dumb shit. I was like, this show is dumb. Yeah. He was playing his PS Vita, and he was playing Tekken, and then I guess the mom took his Vita, or no, Russo took his Vita, and he's like, Alexa, Google, order me a new Vita. I'm like, what? Do they still sell Vitas? Do you know what I mean?
That kid was a little brat, man. But a couple of things. Number one, Tekken is kind of what made me start to get into Taekwondo. That inspired me to get into martial arts for sure. That and the Ninja Turtles. But yeah, so thumbs up for all the product placement. And then just quickly, as I'm thinking about the son, I thought dude went up to whatever unwanted TV child heaven that Judy Winslow went to from Family Matters. He just fucking disappeared in season 2, and then they brought him back at the last episode. He was like, "Yeah, I was at camp." I was like, "Oh man, you got a shit contract, buddy."
Yeah, for real. I guess from there,
I will say that this is an amazing example of good bad. For our Binges episode, our award ceremony that we'll do for our every year anniversary, we just had one. We had a category called something happened, basically the best worst show kind of a thing. It is up to whatever else we watch to take the throne from Cobra Kai, because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean Cobra Kai, man. Look, they already filmed season 3. It's coming 2021, so get ready for that. So from there, let's get into some of the main characters of the show and just our thoughts on them. So we got to break it down, I guess, team by team.
Samantha Russo can get it.
All right. Let's
I'll give it that Cobra.
Are you talking about the teenage daughter?
All
right, we'll get to that when we do. All right.
Wait, which one's no, the mother.
Samantha LaRusso is the daughter.
Let's not go there. Let's not go
Amanda.
there. Let's
anyway.
Let's start.
The daughter? Whichever the mother Russo.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that clarification, Yemi. You're not a pedophile. Congratulations.
No, I wasn't saying the young girl was cute, but I'm not saying I'm talking about the mother.
Yeah, the mother. Yeah, she's a good-looking woman. Good-looking woman. Obviously smart as well. Was running a whole dealership basically by herself in season 2.
And more importantly, she is of age.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not. What? Who getting? I obviously got the name mixed up. I'm not saying I'm. I'm hanging out in high schools, Danny. That's even though, despite my
Come on,
bandana.
Matthew McConaughey.
All right, before we get
Alright.
way off track here,
I'm
let's
saying
start
the
with
mother LaRusso.
let's start with Team Cobra Kai, right? So we're gonna go with Miguel first. Miguel is the he's sort of like the number one to the team for Mr. Lawrence. So Daniel, what was your thoughts on Miguel as a character in the show?
Yeah, so Miguel was kind of like the surrogate Daniel-san of this series, and I loved he played the role of being the conduit between the 80s and the 2010s, 2018, 2019 for Johnny Lawrence. And I loved his role in that regard. Yemi, you mentioned that moment where he's like calling people pussies. He's like, I forget the term he used, but he was like, don't you feel like you're misgendering or something like that? Or basically
he calls them out
having
like
a negative
first-
connotation.
Yeah. He's
So
like,
I
pussy's durable
loved-
and blah, 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 blah.
I love to see his character arc, especially through season 1 and through season 2. A very, very, very well done character is Miguel. They gave him decent enough layers in terms of like what his motivations were and him trying to navigate being in a new school. Again, very much like the Daniel LaRusso story in the Karate Kid film. And they had a great dynamic between Johnny Lawrence and Miguel. So I'd love to see that. I was also a fan, and I don't like the mushy relationship stuff, but the relationship arcs with Miguel, I actually thought worked well. That was not the case for
Danny, why
everyone.
don't you
I'm
like
looking
relationship
to Robbie
stuff?
and Sam. I just think that like it can be a little bit ham-handed. I've talked about this in a lot of different episodes that
You
sometimes
ever
it can
been
give
in
like
love
the.
as a kid?
Of
You ever
course,
been
I've
in
had
love in
my
high
puppy
school?
love.
Like it's like that, right? They're
I
like,
know, but sometimes I feel like movies and shows they can be a bit ham-handed with their relationship stuff, and things could be like just done a little bit cheesily. And there was some cheesiness here for sure, but it played in an 80s sort of way. For the Miguel Sam relationships and the Miguel and the new girl that came in season 2, I can't remember her name, like Tammy or something like that. But like I hated the fucking Robbie and Sam relationship. That shit was awful. And I'll get into that. But Miguel as a character was very, very dope. He gets an A+ from me, and he lost his braces from one day to the next. How do you like that?
Hey,
He won the karate tournament, and he went to the celebration. And he got his braces removed on the way there, I guess.
Yeah. I like that. All right, Yemi, what'd you think of Miguel?
Miguel was alright. Yeah, he was interesting. You know, he didn't. There was a lot of dad, like my daddy. You know, with Johnny, his daddy was, his stepdad, and his stepdad was a dick. And then like Miguel didn't have a dad, so he was kind of like his white karate dad. And there was a lot of dad issues. But he was cool. He wasn't my favorite character by any. He doesn't have any like actor pizzazz for me. The acting in this also was like, all right, it's a little questionable. But he was. I felt like interesting fun fact. I felt like he had the best karate. As far as like actual choreography, he had the best karate, or trained the most. I don't know. Everyone else seemed like they were pantomiming super slow. But his scenes, I was like, all right, that looked like a real spinning hook kick. You know what I mean? For all my karate aficionados out there. But he was cool. His mom was chill. I like his grandma. His grandma added actually some like jokes to the mix.
Yeah, abuela, yes.
Yeah, abuela, she was lit. He was just kind of like he was kind of like vanilla, like regular. He was like regular kind of. I'm a kid that was like kind of a nerd, and now I'm not. Because he fought off like a bunch of bullies during lunchtime. And I just want to say, like,
he won the tournament too. Come on.
As many fights that this thing had, do you guys ever remember just in your lifetime having like a food fight in the New York City public?
Never.
Like 35 years of living on this earth and being in school, in public school, and I've been in private school. Have you ever seen like an all-out food fight turn into like a brawl between 1 and 5 other students? Because we call that jumping.
I mean, we call it getting jumped.
Yeah, and
it's
not as romanticized.
Yeah, I don't think that would play well. It would just be one kid getting fucked up by 5 people, and I guess those 5 people would get expelled. Is how that would actually play out. But we're living in the world of karate, so you just have to live in the Cobra Kai world. But I get what you're saying. I get you, man.
So just to like move on sort of quickly with this, I just want to get maybe y'all's like favorite member of Cobra Kai, right? So we have Aisha, we have Hawk, Stingray, and then of course there's the old school guy, Kreese. If y'all just want to kind of give like just a brief feeling on those characters and stuff, what'd you think about those characters, Danny?
Hawk for the fucking win. I love Eli / Hawk. Oh my good fucking god. Great arc. He was such a timid kid. He had the oh my god, I forget the actual term. Hair lip. I'm gonna get destroyed for not knowing this term.
Like oh god, I forget what you got. Yeah,
it's a real issue. It's a real issue, and it affects a lot of kids.
Oh, it's like a cleft lip.
Cleft lip. That's what it is. And I just loved his arc, and I loved the overall theme of fucking fighting through your trauma. You can find a way to communicate this in not a toxic way, but for lack of a better term right now, just like getting over being a pussy, basically. And I just loved his arc that he flipped the script. That is actual useful philosophy that you can take away from the show is if you have insecurities, you need to flip the script. And he did just that. And it was just fucking hilarious that he got the mohawk, the tattoo on his back where he's like, yeah, I can't show this to my parents till I'm 21. Like I have to avoid them. And then
but he definitely did at the tournament.
He definitely did at the tournament. Oh yeah, he definitely did. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. There was one fucking hilarious moment where I was literally like laughing for an hour where he's like training with the little kid, the little blonde kid, and he's like talking, and he just all of a sudden does this spinning kick and just like decks the kid in the face, and then continues off with his sentence like without missing a beat. I was dying from laughter. And then I loved the way he developed in the second season where he went, full Kreese. Kreese was kind of like he was in the original movie, and then back then Cobra Kai was basically like karate Hitler Youth, and that's basically what Kreese was running. But as he adopted that sort of Kreesian philosophy, if you will, he went kind of full, like on a full heel turn. And I liked him almost even more as an antagonistical kind of character archetype, actually. I really love the way they did that. And I liked his fight scenes. I wasn't as down on the choreography as you seem to be, Yummy. I wasn't expecting like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like fucking like crazy shit or like anything from like the Raid movies or John Wick. But his fight scenes were dope.
Okay, I dig that. Yemi, do you have a favorite member of the Cobra Kai team?
Of the Cobra Kai team?
Yeah. Is there someone that stood out?
I like Johnny, man. Johnny. What's his name? Johnny.
His name is Johnny. The main character of the show's name is Johnny.
John. Talk about the owner.
As far as the kids. There's Chris. There was one kind of yeah. I was like, oh, they gotta fill their black quota, so they threw in Chris, the big kid.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like,
that's right.
I learned something Gecko. He's like the commercials. Like he was throwing in black shit.
But he ended up defecting though. You picked a defector, Yummy.
He defected to team.
We gotta throw in a big black kid. If people are gonna be up in their arms if we don't have the freaking the quota. But Chris was kind of cool. I wish he had a bigger role in this than he did as a token. But I really like Johnny as far as I really like Kreese too, because that man has conviction. You can say what you want to say about his rubric, but man, 20 years he was waiting in the wings for Cobra Kai to open back up. Comes in season 2, episode 1, like I was waiting for this.
I just love overall, like Kreese is a great example.
In the parking lot in a mall strip. Like, where have you been, dude?
With a cigar in his mouth.
How did he know? He must have been waiting in that parking lot for like 30 years. Like, it's gonna happen.
He just brought a bunch of box of cigars. He's like,
oh my god,
that shit was hilarious. I was cackling. Like, this dude has been waiting.
So funny.
Sad as an elderly man for you to wait for one of your students to like, you know what?
He was his best student, man. I just love overall, like, Kreese is a great example, and Johnny and Daniel, of just, like, how seriously this whole, like, universe takes karate, you know? Kreese is just, like, taking it as, like, when you're out there in front of the enemy, when you're in war. It's like, when are you going to be in war in fucking suburban California, man? Like, it's not that serious.
He needs a Xanax or something, I think. Let's move on to the Miyagi-Do team. We're going to focus right now on Robbie Keane and, of course, Sam, or Samantha, who is the daughter of Daniel. So let's start with our own Daniel. What did you think of, I guess them as a couple, them separately, and that whole storyline?
Yeah, I'll start with the whole Robbie Keane. What do you say?
Those two, like, that wouldn't have happened in the real world. You know what? I'm gonna shut my mouth because I was just like, this is. Go ahead.
You can take it first if you want. Yemi, go ahead. You can take this one first.
You want to go first? You go ahead, bro. You got.
It didn't make any sense from the writer's room. Like, oh, we're gonna have these two hot teens just in the house. What? In what universe does this happen? Not in my house. You're not.
Well,
technically. Wait a minute. If you like LaRusso, right? And you see this kid, just from a man's perspective, and this is your daughter, this super hot kid, and you're like, you live with me now, and I'm gonna teach you karate 10 feet away from my daughter, who's like,
make sure you don't wear your shirt ever.
It just, to me, I was like, this is that's when I was like, all right, this is stupid. This is dumb. Like, this is on a logical level, this is dumb. But once I got past that, I'm like, this seemed like they were supposed to be and it was like weird because he was like, you're teaching my son, but then the story kind of got convoluted towards like the end of season 1, and I was just like, all right, writers, like, what do you want the main story to be? And like one of the shows, like a Black as Fuck, like I was like, you guys there's way too much going on. Focus on one thing, and I felt like that kind of took me out of it a couple of times. I was like, I'm watching this in the background because they don't know what they want me to focus on. You want me to focus on their marriage? Him like trying to be a businessman, or like the feud, or like these kids. There was like a lot. It was like a hodgepodge of like shit put together, and it was just like, and then in intertwined, like, okay, Mr. Miyagi flashback, like Daniel-san balance. It was like, what? And then flashback to the present. I'm like,
yeah.
What?
There was a lot going on, and I feel like that's why they scaled back on some of the things. They scaled back, but they scaled back on Daniel and his dealership. They scaled back on Daniel's wife. She had very little involvement in season 2, and then obviously they basically got rid of.
No, she didn't, because
his actual son.
You're not paying attention to me. And he was like, I was into this karate shit, bitch, before you married me. You know what I mean? Like, don't stop karate, because that's who I am to my core. I don't know. It was like, all right. That's why I was just like laughing. Like, I could not take this show seriously because they're not taking it seriously yet.
Yeah. But for me, yeah. So I guess I'll just start talking about Robbie. Can
I just say something quick before you jump in?
Favorite character is what I'll say. Winston, what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna say he reminds me of that dude from Boy Meets World, like with his haircut and shit. What's his name?
Rory.
I was gonna say he reminds me of like the with the Lawrence brothers. Like Joey Lawrence and the other one. Yes. I feel like they had a third. He was the third brother. They just cryogenically froze him. He was like, we already got 2. We'll thaw him out when we need him in like a few decades. You know what I mean? That's basically who Robbie Keane was. Yes. They gave him the most Irish name in the world, Robbie Keane. I don't know why they went with that. It's also the name of a very famous Irish soccer player. But in any case, Robbie Keane. All right. But what a fucking terrible character. Oh my God. They could have added like one layer to his character other than just being a fucking heartthrob without his shirt on and like trying to be like, oh, he's such a good kid. But he wasn't a bad boy. Like he was at first because
he was.
Because he wore. Yeah,
yes,
I know.
He was a bad kid.
Not in season 2. Like as soon as he started working with LaRusso, the transition from being a bad kid to a good kid was so seamless. And then from there it was just like. It was just moment after moment of him being like a sweet kid, just trying to do the right thing. I got to eat my corn pops with water. But even still, he manages to have rock hard abs, I guess.
Hey, man, stop hating on the kid's abs.
I hated the love arc. Between him and Samantha because, number 1, it was very telegraphed. Number 2, Miguel was my main character, and I was rooting for Miguel the whole time. I'm Team Miguel all the way. And then, he was just so basic I wish they added more complexity. I wish they pushed the envelope or made the transition to being a good kid a bit less smooth. Even though it did have some bumps with like those, his friends that were like 46 that were supposed to be his contemporaries, that like those goons that he had to fight off a couple of times. Samantha, I think they did a really good job with Samantha in a vacuum, actually. The fact that she had those martial arts chops and they essentially did not use them for an entire season was a very bold move and a very smart choice in my view. And then with the way they developed her character, I thought was really it was very easy for them to rely on cliches, but I felt like they did a good job of her trying to strike this balance of like getting in with a popular crew, but still trying to like maintain contact with her like past with Aisha. She was like a good girl. I rooted for her the whole time. I thought she was like really, really sweet. And maybe I'm revealing myself to be a hypocrite, because I guess like you could say, well, why doesn't she have more dimensions if I'm saying that Robbie Keane should have more dimensions? But I thought that they handled Samantha really well. So I thought they were really good characters. And I did like a lot of the training scenes, not all of them. I think the one thing that I did like with their dynamic, Sam and Robbie, was when they were training on the balancing board. I like that. Even though like I saw that it was going to be cheesy and that it was going to come up in a scenario that wasn't really realistic, I enjoyed that. I was able to allow my fuck it meter to be fully active in that moment.
Okay. All right. So from there, let's move on to the relationship between Johnny and Daniel. So obviously, this has been going on for basically 30 years.
30 years
or so. These guys cannot get along ever since that karate tournament. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts on, their dynamic in this show, and like it sort of seemed at times that they would sort of get along, and then right when they would get along, something bad would happen, and then everything was terrible again. But yeah, just what do you think about that dynamic in the show?
I think Daniel-san is pussy whip.
Oh shit!
First season, right? The dude comes in with the car after his car gets burnt down, right? Or whatever, from like the Russo cousins or whatever. The one dumb cousin who's like, "This is for spraying the dick on the billboard." His wife is like, "Give him a car. Give him a brand new car." And then immediately Daniel's like, "Okay. Bitch, this is my dealership. I'm the one who won the karate tournaments back in the 80s. And he gave him like a fully loaded Charger. And the only reason I know about this is I'm looking for a car currently. I'm like, what? Give me a car. I get it. He felt like he was responsible for it. But as a shrewd businessman, he owns 3 dealerships. He would not have given him a free car. He would have put a lease on it. You know what I'm saying? Like he would have had some like ties. Like, listen, you're still gonna pay for this. And their dynamic was very strange, because they always had the whole like they're gonna reconcile, like the first season 1 they go get a beer, right? And I'm just like, yo, get like after season 2 and they went on that dinner date together. I was like, I don't care about this. This is stupid. Like I think like at least for me as a man, if there's a dude that I have a issue with and like we reconcile, not this back and forth like, I'm going to get a beer with you. You know what? You're actually kind of cool. Oh, but I guess it's because their daughters and their sons were like tied in together, which is why they kept going back and forth. But my whole thing about that relationship is like they kind of had a fight in season 2. And I just wanted that payoff to see like who kept up the karate. Because if I'm being honest, Russo looks like I can take him. Like, no muscle mass whatsoever. But Johnny looks like, he's been in a couple bar fights. So it's just like, come on, let's get the real fight going. And then they kind of fought, and then they were like, stop it, you're fighting.
I love that LaRusso, he's been doing karate for decades.
For 20 years, no muscle mass.
Literally no muscle mass.
None.
His body. It's a very strange body. I don't want to body shame Ralph
Johnny
Macchio.
looked like he could take you down, after a couple.
Yeah. Although he needs to stretch it out, though. He did that one kick at the beginning. He was holding his groin. I love that little nod, just like when he first started fighting.
Oh,
he's
yes,
old,
I like
man.
that
He's
too.
old.
I like that
They
too.
look good, though. They look good for their age.
Absolutely.
So yeah, my take on their relationship is this was one of the successes of the show, and this was like the number one thing that they had to get right in this show. These are the main characters of the marquee entry in the franchise, they had to get this dynamic right. And they especially did that well in season 1, as this is a Cobra Kai show, as Johnny Lawrence is our protagonist, initially at least in this show. They did a good job of doing like sort of a gradual release of Ralph Macchio, of Daniel LaRusso into this series. And I liked how initially they sort of presented him as a sort of antagonistic sort of figure for Johnny, we're rooting for the anti-hero at the time, or at least I was. So like they did a good job of giving Daniel unlikable qualities, because even though he's the good guy, we're rooting against him, at least at the beginning of this show. So I think they did a great job of setting up that dynamic in season 1. He's being petty. He's trying to find ways to shut down Cobra Kai. And then they have that whole board meeting where Johnny comes in and basically gives that speech, and they allow Cobra Kai to participate in the tournament. I just love the presenter who's like, what a badass name, Cobra Kai. That was a great fucking moment.
Oh, the black presenter was lit.
Yeah, dude. And then season 2.
Dojo.
Badass name for a dojo.
And his cream in his pants over his name. I'm like, it's just alliteration.
But in season 2, things had to, they couldn't really keep up with that same dynamic, so they had to shift things, and then they shifted, of course, more towards LaRusso being fulfilling the role of Miyagi and being the teacher, and it was more about the kids. And then it was a seamless transition, and it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. I'm pretty sure in season 3, if you've been paying attention to the rumors, I think we're going to get a time skip, and I think we are going to see Johnny and Daniel team up to defeat Kreese's brand of Cobra Kai.
Okay, that's very interesting. So I want to take that as a transition point, since we only have approximately 10 minutes or so left. Let's talk about predictions for season 3. So Daniel had a great one, but like also there were some other things. Miguel obviously was hurt very badly at the end of the last scene, the big fight scene in high school. And then, of course,
that school is getting shut down, dude.
Oh yeah,
how is that
Valley High, Cobra Kai,
down?
Valley High, whatever. They're losing their teaching license, because that fight was.
You let my kid get fucking kicked off a balcony?
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
It's crazy. I mean, that was a crazy.
He's like, I don't get paid enough for this. And then the guy, can we talk about Stingray, and how he's a pedophile? Yeah, like he's just gonna take a class with like adolescents. He's like, dude, I think you're too old for this. And he's just like, don't worry, I have money.
I love Stingray. Stingray was an incredible inclusion.
In karate and Thai boxing, there's a kid. If I'm in the kid class, it's like, no, dude, you can't take no, you cannot take the teens karate.
It was so weird. That was so strange.
As well, and I'm just like,
so you would trade a show being more grounded in reality than having Stingray show up at a teen house party and breaking up that fight the way he did? That was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
No? Nothing? High kicks? He hit his foot on the locker? You know what I like about Stingray though? He kind of like low key did some, Metal Gear Solid shit, Liquid Snake at the end with Miguel.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. The thing about Stingrays is this dude, he was incredible. Anyway, I'm not having that.
Like I said, I there's a lot of the things I was like, this would be problematic in 2020. This man is grown and he's taking a class with my 14-year-old daughter. I don't appreciate it. Yelp, you're canceled.
It's 80s. You gotta turn on your 80s brain, man. So Yemi, your predictions for season 3.
Get the woman into it. Get the wives. I want to see Mr. LaRusso fight the Miguel's
mom.
Get everybody into it, man. Everybody's doing karate. The whole town is crazy karate. People like, you cut me in line, Greg. It's like, guess what? I study at Cobra Kai. Oh, shit. Everybody doing karate over petty shit. That's what I want season, because that's what happened in season 2. Like, we're gonna get the kid, and then these kids go over to the Miyagi-Do, and then it's like everybody's getting karate crazy. In this town where there's no adults in public for some reason, and all the kids are just drinking and doing karate. And what was that shit at the party with the 2 girls? What is doing that shit?
Oh, they were drinking and
No,
with
but
one
what
leg
game?
up, drinking like his beer
Where
and shit.
the shit, and then they're like, I can do shots all night long, bitch.
That was, yeah,
That's what they
that
did.
was pretty
What was
interesting.
no? Okay, maybe that's not a real game. My prediction is for season 3,
Yes. What
there's
is
gonna
it?
be Kreese, obviously, with his like this deadly, like he's like, I'm gonna teach these kids like I taught you, Johnny, like I slapped you up like a little bitch. And then Johnny's gonna be like, oh no, my school. And then Russo's like, we gotta team up so the town doesn't go crazy with these kids. They're gonna team up, and it's gonna be Cobra Kai versus Cobra Kai Light and Miyagi-Do. And then maybe his wife knows karate for some reason. Those mother's like, I need to learn how to fight, and then everyone's fighting and shit, and then the shit. Maybe can we see a Jaden Smith pop up?
Yo, that
Right?
would be
And
crazy.
like you know,
Please, no.
no,
Please.
That
does,
would
like,
be
like, rap
crazy.
shit, like he guts in and he's like, yeah, Miyagi. I thought that would have been cool. I mean, Will Smith is a producer. Get
Yo,
your son.
I gotta be honest. I don't hate that idea, Yemi.
No,
Maybe you
that's-
should call him. I don't hate. I know Danny doesn't like. I don't hate that idea.
That's a brilliant idea. I'm being serious now. That's a if he got like Jaden Smith to be like the, you know, like, oh, it's Samantha's birthday. We got somebody who used to study with Miyagi, like as a nod to like the
He
remake.
didn't study with Miyagi. He studied with Jackie Chan. Who doesn't do
That was
karate?
Miyagi's shit, right?
He's
Wasn't that his-
Chinese. That's the most racist thing you've said all week.
No, I'm saying in the storyline. I'm not. Obviously, I know Miyagi's
I know,
Japanese. But wasn't like I don't know what the story was with the Jaden Smith. Like,
Yeah,
what was
Jackie
that?
Chan taught Jaden.
So it was just another story of karate, like a remake.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Pretty much. It was a remake. It was a
No,
reboot.
like, I know I went to Japan. I don't know. They could tie it in. They can write that shit. If they can write this,
I'm sure they could
they
somehow.
can write Jaden Smith in it.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I actually like that idea. Danny, do you have any predictions, bold predictions even, for season 3 of Cobra Kai?
Yes. I think that Elizabeth Shue knows karate, and she's going to come back and she's going to jump kick Johnny Lawrence in the face. He's going to be like, whoa, I've never been kicked in the face by a hot babe like that. And then they're going to rekindle their love, and then they are going to...
Was that the chick who was on the phone at the end?
Yeah.
Her name popped up on she Facebook friend requested Johnny as he threw his phone away into the sand. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
keeping us in
So, I mean,
suspense.
it's probably good that Johnny didn't see that, because he would probably interpret that Facebook request as consent. But we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, Johnny's definitely rapey. Johnny rapey. as fuck.
Johnny is
Remember that
quite
wet dream he
rapey.
had? First of all, you're not getting wet dreams in your mid 40s, bro. Stop it. You know.
We are learning a lot about Yemi and his
I'm not
dick
in my
health.
40s.
Anyway, so no, I'm kidding. Hey, I mean, we are still friends. You and I, we still friends. I loved the wet dream sequence with Johnny Lawrence. That was just amazing to see, like,
When I saw it, I was like, this
his
is problematic and there's no
fantasy
consent.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
fantasy
yeah.
is no consent. Just like, hey, what's up, hot babe? Hello.
And then-
Whoa, stop, Jill.
Did she pour Coors Banquet on top of herself and Johnny Lawrence?
Correct.
Yeah,
I'm like,
correct.
what the
Wait,
fuck? Like,
Coors
is-
Banquet? Is that
yeah,
what?
like that's just his. That's all he drinks. He doesn't drink water or anything else. He just only drinks Coors
Yeah,
Banquet.
he just even at the bar, I was like, yo, and as many scenes as he got drunk, I was like, dude, you must drink like to get drunk off of Coors is a talent.
Well, no, but Coors Light is much harder. Coors Banquet, it'll do a job. It'll do a job.
Now we're
I
just
don't
getting
understand
it.
how he maintained his physique drinking all that beer.
Yeah, exactly.
But in any case,
gotta
my
suspend.
prediction was absolutely ridiculous and not particularly funny. But I think Elizabeth Shue is going to come back. I wonder how they're going to do that. It was really interesting seeing Elizabeth Shue in Karate Kid, by the way, after watching The Boys. And she looks so youthful, but she doesn't look as youthful now. And it was weird. Like, I could kind of see, I was like, oh yeah, in 30 years you're going to have wrinkles where you're smiling there. But yeah, I think she's going to be back. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think Miguel is going to be okay. We're going to see like montages of his rehab. He is going to be fine. He's going to be fine. There's no way Miguel is not jump kicking. He's going to learn some crazy technique. I don't know. So those are my not so bold predictions.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, did you have something else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
Nah, it's good.
That's good. All right. So if you have any predictions, listeners, for season 3 of Cobra Kai, hit us up on Binge Society podcast at gmail.com. Of course, you can hit us up on IG at Binge Society and on TikTok and Twitter at Binge Society Pod. So yeah, this has been a fun episode. It was
Listen.
What's up, bro?
How many Cobras are we giving this? Or how many bonsai trees? It depends on if you're Miyagi-Do or Cobra Kai.
All right, let's do let's do Cobras. Cobras are cool.
Yeah, Cobras.
Fuck it, let's
Cobras
do
are badass.
I'll start first this time. Out of 4, right? We'll do our 4 out of 4.
As of course is tradition.
Just because it was binge-worthy TV and full just entertainment value, I will give it a 3. You know, I'll give it a solid 3. Fun, entertaining. You could watch it with your partner, and even if you have a family, you might be able to watch it with kids for the most part. There's some parts that were maybe a little iffy, but
There was not. I would watch that with my kid.
You could definitely watch it with like your partner, and like I think they'd be into it. You know what I mean? Like it's violent enough, but not too violent.
We need to have a couple of conversations afterward about binge drinking and
doing
violence,
karate in the wild,
bonsai trees and bubble tea. Anyway.
That part. Anyway, who wants to go next? Danny, you want to go next?
Do not.
Sure, why not? Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna deviate from you, Winston. It gets, again, you have to contextualize what you're rating and for what it is, and I'm rating this for what it is, and that is a good bad show. It's not trying to take itself seriously, and under that pretense, it gets 3 Cobras, and I have a fully erect nostalgia boner for this nostalgia porn.
I like that. Yemi, what is your rating? How many Cobras do you give Cobra Kai?
How many Cobras I give this this clusterfuck of a writing job? I give it 2. I give it 2
Okay.
Cobras. I could have watched it. It wasn't like, it's not something I would have watched if it wasn't for like the nostalgia of it and just for my love for karate. No, it's just 2 is regular. It's regular. If you want, again, to echo what you guys said, if you had a family or a girlfriend and you want something that's not super, if you want escapism, this is it, because you have to, like, when you're in that universe, you're like, what is happening? Why is this town just worried about karate and cars? You know what I mean? Like, so then, yeah, this is for you. If you want to like unplug from what's going on right now, then definitely watch this show. It's campy, it's 80s, and if you're an 80s baby or early 80s baby or early 90s baby, I guess this is for you. And it kind of, you know, it gives shout outs to like the 80s kind of like, don't be a pussy, you know, make the first move, no mercy, versus the like Gen Zers. They're like, oh, everyone's included and everyone is special and no one loses. So I really like that dynamic. And if you want to learn some karate or karate aficionado, this is the show for you. But two hisses, snakes.
All right. So yes, like I said before, you know all the contact info. Let us know what you think about Cobra Kai. Season 3 is on the way for 2021. So get ready for that. And as always, my name is Winston Brewington. You can find me on all platforms as Radio Win.
But also, there's more. Can I interject? Sorry, I know I usually go last, but up and running as of today, we do have a Patreon that is live. So go to www.patreon.com/Binge Society and become a Patreon, baby. We are live, ready to go with some subscription-based stuff. So if you are day ones, if you're a binger or bingeette, now's your time to show us some love and commit to the Patreon. We got some really cool things coming for our Patreon members. We got some clips, we have some side binges, and this fall is going to be super fun and binge-worthy. So check us out on Patreon. What up?
Word.
And that's amazing. And also,
pussy.
on another note,
strike that Patreon first.
Yes. And on another note, we do have an official website coming soon as well. So
in September, we have www.bingesocietypodcast.com.
Exactly. So it's coming. We'll keep you posted on all of that stuff. Yes. So continue with our outro.
Yeah, you said that wrong, Yemi. We're still in Cobra Kai fashion. That is www. Binge Society Podcast, .com.
That would have been funny if you said www. Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Binge Society Podcast. Stop.
.com.
Like, are you speaking in old English, John?
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh, my 18th
you guys are very welcome. I have been Danny Bronner or Danielson Bronner. You guys have been absolute badasses. Let us know what you think. Give us your predictions for season 3. Be interested to know what y'all think about that. All right. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. What about you, Yemi? Where can they find you?
Later, you know what time it is. Yemi Comedy. Cobra Kai is in the building. Yeti, the elusive beast. Don't mess with me, man. I'll punch you in your teeth. Cobra Kai, you cannot defeat. Yeah.
Banzai! Banzai! Yemi-san! Banzai!
And then that does it for a very animated episode of Binge Society. We had a lot of fun today with all the heaviness happening in the world. It was nice to do a fun episode. So glad to be here with y'all. Glad y'all listening. Stay tuned. We'll be back next week. More content. You know we don't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. Be well. Be safe.
Banzai! Banzai!